special people in your life. So I'm going to go ahead and move the camera down to my working space, and we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to be starting first of all with the cracker box treat box. And what you're going to want to do is you should have a baggie with a cutout that looks like this. I actually created this cutout with We Are Memory Keepers cracker box punch board. And what you're going to do is you have one, two, three, four score lines on your project, and I want you to go ahead and just add some glue. You can use either side of it. I like the love pattern that's on the outside, so I'm just going to add some glue right here to the end. I'm just adding the glue to the side that I want to be face up on that section that is about 1 inch wide. And then I'm just going to fold it over, and I'm going to just sit and hold it for a second so that it secures real well. I did use my Nuvo glue, my favorite liquid glue. Holds very well, dries clear, dries relatively quickly. You're going to see it's already pretty well dry, so that we can manipulate this box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you should have 2 pieces of ribbon in your kit, and you're just going to go ahead and take one of them and tie it around the end where you have the cutouts, and you can go ahead and pull that tight. Okay, and I always have people in my classes ask me how to make the perfect bow. I find that if I make the rabbit ears, I have my first rabbit ear kind of face down, and then I just go ahead and circle my second rabbit, or my leftover ribbon, and circle it through. Then I find that I have a bow that is straight and isn't kind of cockeyed off to one side. So I'm going to do the very same thing on this other side. And what you can do is, if you're going to fill it with candy or some other sort of treats, then I would tie one end, go ahead and open it up, fill all of your candy or your treats right in there, and then you can close it with that second piece of ribbon. So if you want to make a ton of these, I would look into finding the We Are Memory Keepers cracker punch board, cracker box punch board. And there you have it. That's a relatively easy, quick project, but a fun way again to go ahead and give some treats to someone special in your life. Okay, so that completes our first box. I'm going to go ahead and lift my camera up just a tiny bit so you guys can see more of my workspace for this next project. And the next project we're going to be doing is actually the mailbox. I did find this as an SVG cut and was able to cut these items out with my Cricut. So, and then I had some small little Bow Bunny dies that I was able to use my Sizzix Big Shot to cut out. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take this red piece and we're going to go ahead and assemble the box. So what I want you to do first is go ahead and fold where all of those score lines are. Okay, and then you're going to fold these 2 sides in, and what you're going to see is we've got the start of what looks like a box. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take this long skinny end and you're going to just fold it up over, and you will see that when you do that, this is going to go ahead and tuck in to create that box. Now I want to add a little bit of glue to hold that, to make sure that it doesn't come undone. So on these two short flaps on the side, I'm just going to add some glue. Okay, and then I'm just going to bring this up and make sure that those two ends are flush with the ends of the flap that you are bringing up to meet those with. Okay, and then I'm just going to fold it over, and for right now I'm not going to put any glue right there where that end is, because in just a second we're going to put this black piece on the inside to kind of secure it and give it a little more strength. So we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. We're just going to add a little bit of glue. And we're going to bring that end up just like we did on the other side. Hold it there, let it dry. Okay, and then again, I'm going to want to just go ahead and push those flaps that we have, just push them towards the end. You can glue them at this point if you want to, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this piece down, and I'm just going to glue it right down. So it's going to go ahead and hold those two bottom flaps in anyway. So I'm not really going to choose to go ahead and glue those down. But if you would prefer to, and it's easier for you, feel free to do that. But I'm just going to add some glue right here on my bottom, and just go ahead and place that right in there. Like I said, that'll also make the bottom of our box a little sturdier. Okay, so that's the bottom of our box. Pretty easy. And if you look, this again, just like our last project, if you would prefer the love side to be on the outside and be the outside of your mailbox, you can feel free to fold those score lines in. I'm going to make mine like my sample, and I'm going to go ahead and just fold. There is two score lines. I'm going to fold on one of them, and then you have one over here that's maybe about a ½ inch wide that I'm going to go ahead and fold on. Now what we're going to do is we want to create a curved mailbox that looks just like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some glue right here on this edge. And I'm just going to hold that down and let it secure itself. Now I think COVID's going to probably make our Valentines look a lot different this year. Me and my husband typically don't go out for Valentine's Day because it just tends to be so incredibly crowded. So we usually try to celebrate the weekend before. But one thing that I love about Valentine's is it gives you a chance to tell all of the special people in your life how much you love them and how much they mean to you. I remember back when I was in high school and I was a lovelorn teenager, I'd always get a little bit bummed out if Valentine's Day came around and I didn't have a sweetheart. But now, even though I do have a sweetheart, I love the opportunity to tell my friends, my daughter, the people that I work with, how much love I have for all of them. And so what you're going to want to do is once you've got that mailbox all ready to go, then this box here just slides right inside there. You may need to pinch it a little bit just to get it started in there. And then as you can see, you've now got a mailbox. Now we want to put a little, we're going to go ahead and decorate our mailbox first with, I don't know what this is called, whatever your, hey, you've got mail. I'm just going to call it your little, you've got mail stick that you put up when you've got mail to put in there. And it doesn't matter which side that you want to put that on. We're just going to hold that here for a second and let it stick. One thing that this treat box you can really use for just about anything. You could put, your traditional treats like M&Ms or fun-sized candy bars. Another thing that I think this is great for is I think it's great to go ahead and put a couple of chocolates from a box of chocolate in here. That's room probably for about 2 chocolates. Maybe I think this would be a nice gift to give to someone who maybe that you work with in the office. Get a nice big box of chocolates, and then you can go ahead and put a couple in each one of these boxes. I'm going to go ahead now and take my cutout hearts. You should have 2 cutout hearts, and I'm going to go ahead and glue them on each side of my You've Got Mail stick. I'm just going to put a little bit down at the bottom, and then I'm going to also add a few drops just so it will glue to the other heart that I'm going to add in just a second. So I'm just going to put that right at the top of my stick. And the nice thing about, I'm kind of a chocoholic myself, and so the nice thing about putting 2 or 3 pieces of chocolate, or two pieces of chocolate in each one of these, you open the box and you can steal a piece and no one's going to know, since you're just putting 2 in each box. So little way to make sure you get a piece too, because I've always got to do a little quality control on whatever chocolate that I give away, just to make sure that it's quality chocolate, right? Kind of what I always say about Halloween candy. Once that bag is breached, then probably I end up with just as much candy as the trick-or-treaters do. So, okay, so now I've got my cutout heart right there on my You've Got Mail stick. And you also have 2 solid hearts. And you're just going to go ahead and glue one of those on each side of your box. And just for a little embellishment. Now, if you've got another idea, if you want to put them both on one side or put them on the ends, that's entirely up to you to do whatever you might like. Okay, now there you go. You've got a cute little mailbox, candy gift holder. You could put a cute little note in there, love note. That completes our second box. Okay, next we're going to do probably my favorite of the birdhouse. And I always say I feel bad when I pick a favorite project. I kind of feel like I'm kind of picking a favorite child. So what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead. You're going to see you have a lot of dotted lines here, and those are just going to act as score lines. This particular cut file is a Lori Whitlock cut file. She has a lot of really, really cute files. The kiss box that I did for Valentine's, that was also a Lori Whitlock file. And you can go and purchase the file. The really neat thing about this is, like I said, I love this Photoplay Love Letters collection. It is their brand new collection for Valentine's 2021. Feels good to say 2021 after 2020 is over. And so you're just going to want to fold on all of those dotted lines, okay? And so you're going to have something that looks like this. Now, I love the fact that this birdhouse worked perfectly with this bird pattern paper, but if you prefer to flip it over and have the hearts on the outside, you feel free to do that as well. Okay, you also have a small little acetate piece. It's just a clear piece, and we're going to go ahead and cover, you're just going to want to take some glue, and you're going to want to just go ahead and put some glue around the edge, and we're just going to cover up that cutout heart. Okay, this is just to make sure whatever sort of treats that you put in there stay inside. Okay, now we're just, once you've got that, now we're just going to start building our birdhouse. Okay, so you've got everything that's folded in like this, and I'm just going to bring one of these. I'm going to start at the back, which is the solid birdhouse with the large cutout, and I'm just going to eventually wrap and glue all of these different pieces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right here, and I'm going to put some glue on this piece right here, and then I'm going to go ahead and hold it down. And when I put those two pieces together, I just want to make sure that this piece, this flap that I'm gluing down, is flush with the piece that I'm gluing it down onto. Okay, then once that is done, I'm going to go ahead and just do the same thing. I'm going to be taking this larger flap and I'm going to be gluing it on top. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And again, I just want to make sure that it's flush with that edge that I'm gluing it onto. And then now I've got one more edge to do, and you'll see I have this flap. That's going to kind of close up my birdhouse. I'm going to put some glue right here on this flap, and then follow it up with some glue right here. Okay, so now you can see that our birdhouse is all glued. Looks like a birdhouse. The only thing that remains is to put our roof on it. And you should have another piece that has a lot of little holes along the side as well as a slot on each side. You'll see some dotted lines there as well. You're just going to want to go ahead and create the eaves on for the birdhouse, and then it does fold in the middle. And you're going to go ahead and just place this on top. If you want to glue it down, if you want to add some glue to these flaps and glue it down, then you can. Or if you want to just tie the roof on, you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and just tie my roof on. So what you're going to want to do is you have some black and red ribbon in your kit. You're going to want to go ahead and take that ribbon and lay it out, and then just place your birdhouse right in the middle so that you have pretty close to an equal amount on each side. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my roof on. And I'm going to go ahead and thread my ribbon through there. And the only advantage of not gluing is it just makes it a little easier for your recipient to get their treats out without having to tear the roof off of their birdhouse. This will make the whole roof come off and then come back on, and then they don't have to worry about messing up their pretty birdhouse while they're getting at their treats. Okay, and again, we're just going to go ahead and tie a bow. So I'm going to go ahead and just tie my bow right there. Okay, now like I said, I like to try to bring one flap over and then just bring the remaining piece over the top through the back. Okay, makes a pretty bow. And there is our birdhouse treat box. Okay, now finally we've got one more to do, and some lucky person has 2 items rather than 1 left in their box, and that is because they won the door prize. I did include an Echo Park stamp and die set. It has a die cut heart as well as some stamps, and so whoever was lucky enough to get that, if you want to post in the comments, let me know that you're the lucky winner, that everyone else can congratulate it. I hope you enjoy that with my compliments. Now this next box is what's called a 2468 box. This is just hand cut. It didn't require any tools other than my scoreboard and my cutter, and I did use a die cut right for this front part, but that die cut window is certainly optional. Now this, we're going to want to go ahead and glue our acetate piece down. And I'm going to just put my glue right here. Okay, just make sure that that window's covered so none of those goodies fall out. Okay, now this particular treat box is called a 2468 box. It's super easy to make. The reason it's called a 2468 box, you take a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and you cut it in half, so you've got a piece that measures 8.5 by 5.5, and you just create a score line at 2, 4, 6, and 8, and then you just flip it around on your scoreboard and you do one score line at 2. And so this makes this fun box. Then you're just going to go ahead and cut all of these bottom flaps. You're going to cut up to the horizontal score line. And then all of these four will go ahead and fold up. And this is going to be very similar to the box that we did, or the birdhouse that we did, in that we're going to start on this end. We're just going to kind of wrap the box around, gluing each successive piece. All right, let me get my glue. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just use a tape runner on this. No particular reason other than the fact that I've used my glue for the first three projects, and I just want to use my glue runner to be different. There's really no sort of rhyme or reason or benefit to using a tape runner on this. In fact, as far as a hold, I think you get a superior hold using your Nouveau glue, because I think that has, that's why I'm such a big fan of the Nouveau glue, is just the hold that it has. And it's just such a strong glue. All right, just in case we got any tape runner girls, I'll just go ahead and do this. This is the tape runner project. Now this particular, I should have put my glue on this. You're going to also put your glue on that 1/2 inch flap. So you can see now you've got this cute box. And you should also have your pieces of pattern paper. Okay, you also have a piece that you can see my glue runner is not holding quite as good as my Nouveau glue did. Okay, and so what I'm going to do now is you should have this one other piece, and that's what's going to form the top of our box. You're going to see, looks like there's, I'd say, a score line 1 inch in on one side, and one that looks to be maybe about 1.5 inches. Okay, that smaller score line, we're going to want that to be in front. Okay, so that section that has the bigger score line, we're going to want to go ahead and glue that to the back of your, and where that score line, oops, I got a hair on that, sorry. Between having 2 cats and a dog, I usually have a lot of pet hair hanging around. And if you ever notice that the pets seem to find your adhesive to grace their hair with. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and line that up with where that score line ends. And then I've got it fold right over the top. Okay, now you should have 3 pieces of the pattern paper. And I liked using the black with the hearts on it. Again, if you want to flip it over, change it up a bit, then absolutely feel free. I'm just going to go ahead and add my pieces on there. And when we add this pattern paper, that's going to go ahead and cover where this flap is. So you can just go ahead and cover that up. And you shouldn't be able to see that flap anymore. Okay, now you do have one piece that is going to fit on the top. I did use 2 nested heart dies when I did this part of it. So you'll see that when you put that piece on, you're still able to see a slight background of the pink cardstock. Okay. And then you should have one piece for this top piece. You can go ahead and glue on. Okay. That leaves you with the box that looks like this. You will notice you have a small little doily that you can go ahead and put on that top flap. And then you have a tiny heart button with a little bit of baker's twine that goes through the opening. I'm going to put my doily on first. On top of that, I'm going to put my tiny little button. Now, if you don't like the look of the baker's twine, feel free to go ahead and take it out. I decided to go ahead and thread that through there for you to save your eyes and your sanity. So you're just going to go ahead and place that on there. Okay, now the only thing that you should have remaining is you have 2 tiny magnets. Okay, these magnets, it's easiest to get them apart by sliding one end, and they'll kind of slide apart. These magnets are very, very, very strong, so you want to make sure that you keep them out of reach of children, because it can cause intestinal issues if they were to swallow them. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put these and glue these magnets on. And so one we're going to put right up here on the flap. So I'm going to go ahead and just put my magnet right there. And this you're going to want to hold until it dries, because we're going to want to go ahead and get it to match up exactly where we want to put our remaining. Okay, so once that's good and dry, then you want to make sure that whenever you I'm just testing to make sure that my magnets, that I have my correct magnet sides. So this is the side that will meet up and match, so I'm going to put some glue right on top of there. Okay, and I'm going to put it just right inside the box. Okay, and they should match up and meet and actually hold that lid on. Okay, so then I'll just open and close it with, that's why, tell that I didn't allow it to, that's why I tell you, you want to make sure that it dries nice and dry. Okay, so there you have it, all 4 of your treat boxes, and just hope all of you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Think about all the special people that you have in your life that's worthy of your love. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.